Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to show you how to calculate the total and net reserve requirement for banks. And this is the solution of problem 2 in the worksheet. You're provided with the following deposit data for QBank. We have to calculate the total and net reserve requirements. So we have here the deposits that are divided into three parts. The euro currency liabilities, $5 million, non-personal time deposits, 14 million, and the net transaction account that are divided into two tranches from 0 to 66.1. Of course, the average amount would be 66.1, and over 66.1, which is the $19 million. And as you can see here, we have the reserve requirement in percentages for each tranche. So they are saying that the vault cash is $2.1 million and the first 4.7 million of transaction deposits are exempt from reserve requirements. If we don't have this statement in here, the exercise would be so easy. All what we have to do is to multiply the average dollar amount times the reserve requirements. However, since the first $4.7 million of transaction accounts are exempt from reserve requirements, so we have to divide this first tranche into two parts, and let's see that in the next slide. Let's suppose that these are the total transaction accounts. As given by the exercise, they are divided into two tranches, from 0 to 66.1 and over 66.1, where the amount is $19 million. Since the first $4.7 million of transaction accounts are exempt from reserve requirements, so this tranche has to be divided into two tranches, from 0 to the 4.7 million, where the reserve requirement should be 0% because they are exempt from reserve requirements, and from 4.7 to the $66.1 million, where the reserve requirement have to be 3% as given by the exercise. So how could we determine the average amount of money in these two tranches? Of course, from 0 to 4.7, the amount of money is $4.7 million. And from 4.7 to 66.1, all what we have to do is to subtract these two numbers, so it would be equal to $61.4 million. And the last tranche, that is over the 66.1, the reserve requirements has to be 10% as given by the exercise. So right now we will be able to draw this table. As explained previously, the net transaction accounts are now divided into three tranches. And to determine the total reserve required, all what we have to do is to multiply the average dollar amount times the reserve requirement in percentage. So the average reserve requirement will be equal to 0 for the first one, 1.842 for the second, and so on. The total reserve required are equal to 3.742. All what we did is to sum up the five deposits. And since we have the vault cash, so the net reserve requirements should be calculated by subtracting the vault cash amount from the total reserve required. So we will get the net reserve required. So 3.742 minus the 2.1 will be equal to $1.642 million as net reserve required.